Welcome to the DATRE Transcripts. Transcript 025. DATRE answers Al. John, we have some further questions from Al. The first question he asks is, what is consciousness? DATRE. Consciousness is that which you use in your waking period of existence. In other words, your psyche and your consciousness and your brain all turn on when you enter physicality. Those are your functioning tools. In other words, it's like turning on your computer. The minute you turn it on, things start to happen. And you push different buttons to make things happen in different ways, to search different areas, and so forth. Okay, we use that as the comparison because everybody that's getting the information is familiar with the computer, otherwise they wouldn't get the information. So, to begin with, your psyche is that which you are aware of and contact in what you call your sleep state. Your psyche, it does not know time, it does not know direction. It is. It cannot be explained, but it can be experienced. The same way with consciousness. It's very difficult to describe, but it is experienced every day that you exist. Now your psyche, as I have said, goes in every direction. It is like a big landscape. Now your consciousness in your sleep time is a great deal different than in your awake time. You have a saying on your planet that says, "Let your consciousness be your guide." Okay. So what that means is, if you will listen, your consciousness is putting together experiences for you that you have decided upon when you are in your sleep state and working directly with your psyche. So when they say you are conscious, you have conscious awareness. Yes, because that is your waking functioning tool. Now, the one problem that the majority of the individuals upon your planet have is that they take their waking consciousness with all its problems, all its troubles, all its questions and everything else, and take it into the sleep time. Then try to manipulate from that angle. Now, if upon going to sleep you set aside your consciousness, all your worries and your troubles and thought patterns and all your excitement of what you have done and what you're going to do and all of that, take everything that is within your brain, which is running constantly, and set it aside. Then, if you start dropping off to sleep and something comes up, oh, I forgot about that. Then think about that, solve it, either get up and write it down so you don't forget it the next morning, or forget it. Then try going to sleep again. Now, those that are working with their psyche and their consciousness, they know what belongs where, when. So the minute they lay down to go to sleep, within 5 minutes they're gone, because they know better than to take anything into the sleep time. Free the mind. That gives you an opportunity to explore the psyche in the nighttime. Then, upon waking, you again pick up that which you call your consciousness. You don't pick it up, but you begin to function with it. Then, if you stay out of struggle and perplexities and everything, and everyone has them, you here on the planet Earth, you're going to have them. Nobody is exempt. The only difference between those people whose lives seem to run smoothly and those that don't is those that work with their consciousness. They get an idea, they get a thought pattern, and instead of shoving it aside for another time, they act on it when it comes up. They acknowledge it when it comes up. Maybe they can't act right away, but they acknowledge the thought. The thought is coming from what you have experienced in your realm of the psyche. Now that can be one way. Another way is thoughts will come, like we explained in the beginning, like the dandelion seed. That is the thought that comes from the mind that you are experiencing within your bubble of your planet Earth. Those are thoughts that come to you, and when you get to the point that those are the ones that you are processing, your psyche gives you different options that you can work with, the thought that you received. So you see, You can't put things in a box because nothing works independently in your system of physicality, and that includes your body. Now, I don't know what present teachings are, but in the older teachings, in books that you could get if you went back a number of years, they talked about the different organs within the body as being part of the mind. In other words, that was one of the ways that they explained it. They were right on. You have heard the expression, "I had a gut feeling." That is one of your minds that gives you information. Your whole body gives you information. Your skin is a great receptor. It can give you a great deal of information. But you see, you are not totally aware of the being that you are experiencing through at this point. But at such time, you are aware of all these different things that are happening within the physical being. Your life will change considerably. Consciousness is that which you will use in the daytime in awareness. That is what you function from. That is your, shall we say, it works with the emotions. It works with the information from the psyche. It works with all the different minds or brains that you have within your body that are functioning. So you see, it is a very complex system that you work within. Now we have this statement, and it has been questioned, and I don't know whether it was answered previously, but the fact that it has been said by us that you do not take consciousness into the big universe. Now, consciousness is not needed in the big universe because by the time you begin to function directly with your psyche, you are in your little dandelion seeds, your thoughts, and you are out of time. You see, you will function entirely different. You will not function the same because your time will not be a restriction. You will not be squished into linear time to the point you are now. In other words, you can say, "My goodness, that was a long day." You could, now that you are out of linear time to this extent, and it will be more so. You could have been gone and experiencing in other realities, and come time to go to bed, you say, "This has been a long day." You could have been in and out of body for 4 years in your counting, but you still are counting from sunup to sundown. So it is one day in your physical existence that you are aware of, but when you begin to experience other realities during your daytime, you slid in and out of your time. You can have many years, 10, 12, if you want to, depending upon the pressures of what you call your everyday life. If you allow yourself your freedom, you will experience more. When you begin to work with the little thought dandelion seeds, you will, shall we say, wonder about something. You will attract, just like a magnet, your little dandelion seeds, and you'll say, "Oh, that's what that's all about." Once you have digested that, so you understand it, then will come something else and something else. That will continue until you've said, "I've had enough." But you'd be surprised how much thought is in that little bitty dandelion seed. Now, the psyche, given full rein in the nighttime hours, you wake up. Your consciousness will pick up and start showing you different things during your daytime hours. So you see, your life, instead of being that constant struggle, will be a grand experience. You'll begin to work with the body, give the body its freedom, and you will discover that the body is a very complex, beautiful instrument that you are given to reside within for your experience. Instead of being angry with the body, be very kind to the body because it can tell you many, many things. Now, next question. John, next question. Are the concepts of compassion, love, and working toward a higher ideal universal? DATRE. Well, you see, we have to get down to nuts and bolts again. These are your concepts. These are the words that you have put on emotions on your planet Earth. From our vantage point in the big universe, there would be no need for the word compassion because it is an existence, not a word. Compassion is an existence. What were the other words, please? John, compassion, love. DATRE, love. You were birthed in that which is called love. You are surrounded by love. But there again, your love is a physical name on your planet Earth. What we refer to as love, again, is an existence. We do not know how to exist without what you call love and without what you call compassion, because our very existence encompasses those. It's the very essence of us. You have separate words for things because you strive to achieve those things. When you become more of the you that you are, that will become an automatic expression. So you don't have to go around and huggy kissy and I love you, because your whole being exhibits that. It will exhibit the love, and it will exhibit the passion, and it will exhibit the compassion. That will be your existence. Some people will look at you and say, my goodness, that is a cold individual, because you're not running around expressing it. It's your very being that's expressing it. The falsehood that comes in the compassion and the love that people try to show other people, when there is a deep love, a deeper love than can be expressed in a lot of fancy words between a husband and a wife, or in a relationship, or with children. There's a deepness that cannot be expressed toward another individual. That is love and compassion. The minute you try to put a word on it, you've lost it. Because as you become more you, you will express it just by being. Next question. John, the other part of that we didn't deal with says, and working toward a higher ideal, is that a universal principle? DATRE, no. Working toward a higher ideal is not necessary. It is not necessary because there is no higher than what you are. Right now, you are expressing that which is you to whatever ability you have. Now, I know where your higher comes from, and that's from your hierarchy, which has been a big stumbling block in many concepts. Now, when it comes to channeling and they say, I channel from my higher self, believe me, you have no higher self than you sitting in a chair right where you are. That's as high as you are going to get. Now, you can get from another reality. You can bring in information. You can bring in information from the dead zone. But from your higher self, you don't realize your higher self is you. We have stated it before. The only difference between us and you is we know who we are. You're striving to learn who you are. Next question. John, next question is, why does DATRE try to help us? DATRE, well, we don't, shall we say, try to help you. We try in that we wish to give you information so that you can become the very best you that you can be, because there is so much conflicting information on the planet about how you achieve these different things, like connecting with your higher self. That's a good one. There are many others that are stumbling blocks rather than stepping stones. Your belief system is one of them. It's a cop-out. It really is. It's a cop-out. They say, well, you can't live without a belief system. Yes, you can. There are many on this planet right now that are doing it, and they are doing it very well with that. You don't have to believe anything. All you have to do is exist, be aware, allow, and that's not only allow yourself, but allow others. You're not responsible for any other individual upon this planet, not one. The only responsibility you have is to be the best you know how to be. If you are the best you know how to be, then the responsibility ceases. You cannot look to another for happiness. You cannot look to another to solve your problems, because if you ask 10 people will give you 10 different answers. You know which answer you will choose? The very one that is like the one you already want and know. This is the answer I'm looking for, and as soon as somebody comes up with it, oh yes, that's the right one. But you've already chosen which one you wanted. So don't look to other people. Nobody can fix it. You are the only one that can fix you, and when you begin to realize who and what you are, and then you can relax and let go. Allow it to be, and allow yourself to be. The reason that we are here now is because we have spoken before of the birth. There is a separation taking place. You have new energies coming upon the planet. These new energies are changing your personalities. It is changing your physicality, and if you're going to fight anything and everything that comes upon your planet from now until you're going to have a dickens of a time, guaranteed. That is why we are here now, to let you know what you are, how you are functioning to a certain degree, and allowing you to relax and let it happen. Don't fight. That is one of the big things that you have on your planet. You're fighting for the top job. You're stepping on everybody's neck to get to the top. You're fighting to stay at the top once you get there. It's a constant battle all the time. You have a very competitive reality. And you know what is happening as we see the mass consciousness upon the planet? So many people were put out of work in very substantial jobs, shall we say. Yet, we are finding some individuals, instead of sitting around moaning and groaning about their situation, have decided to do what they wanted to do all their lives. They're probably not making a tremendous amount of money, but they have found happiness in doing what they wanted to do. So you can see the changes taking place on your planet every single day, and there are going to be more. That is why we are here now, not to help you, because we cannot do anything. Everybody has to do their own. But to explain to you so that you understand what these new energies are all about, and a little bit about what your physical being is all about. Next question. John, next question. Where or how does DATRE get his direction or assignment from? Are there actual places or constructs or beings in the universe? Or is everything one, an aspect or vibration of all that is? DATRE. Well, I think we have explained that before. We are absolutely individualistic. In other words, we all are individualistic in that we have our own job, shall we say, that we do. Yet, because we do not work with a physical construct that confines you in a very narrow area, there's no such thing as a secret or something hidden or something that you do not wish to tell anyone, or any of that you have when you have put yourself in a very confined physical body. There is no need. So every experience is a shared experience with everybody. In other words, now, I'm speaking to you through this channel, but the experience that I'm gaining being here and speaking through this physical being is shared by everyone. So there's no barriers. We don't have reality barriers like you have. We do not have physical body barriers like you have. Our existence is entirely different. We sort of dream, like you call, sort of what you would call a daydream. In other words, this is very simplistic, but I'm trying to explain it. You could say that we get an inspiration, and in the beginning of the inspiration, we don't wait till the inspiration is finished. The minute it begins to come into, shall we say, our awareness, we begin to act on it, unconcerned about the outcome, just watching it. That is entirely different than you. You wait until you get all the information, then you act. But you see, the minute that we get it, that's why consciousness is not needed. That's why a psyche is not needed, because there is all of this in the big universe, and so we play with it. And when we have an inspiration, oh, I wonder what will happen if I do this, this, and this. But before I say the second word, I've already begun. my activity on the first word. So, you see, that's a concept you cannot understand, and believe me, that is very simplistic, but that's the way it is. That's why when you get into the acceleration of working with thought, that is the little dandelion seed, and you begin to work with that to a greater extent than you are at the present time. When that seed opens up and you get to the very first inkling and that you begin to act, it becomes what you would call a thought do. Because the minute the seed opens up and reveals itself to you, bingo, you're off. It is that quick. So you will find that some that are connecting to thought do, and it will be zip. They're doing one thing. 2 minutes later, they'll be doing something else. A couple minutes later, they'll be doing something else. They're like a whirling dervish. They are going from here to there, to there, to there, to there, and they're completing all these thoughts as they come in, and they're having a ball. That will last for a while because you in physical form cannot keep that up for any length of time, but maybe you'll do it for a day. At the end of what you call a day, you'll say, boy, did I have a good time. That is the way we function all the time. But you see, we don't put stoppages on things. We don't have to stop for meals. We don't have to stop to go to the bathroom. We don't have to take the car to go here, there, or the next place. We don't have to work. We don't have the physical restrictions. So we just do. That's the way our existence is. Continue. Next question. John, part of that question I don't think you dealt with. I think what he's saying here, is there such a thing as all that is in the universe? DATRE, well, there again, that is a very limiting term, because all that is only all that is, only in the moment, and the next moment, it is something else, and the next moment, it is something else. You see, in your there again, you nail everything down too tight. Let's put it this way. In the bubble that surrounds your planet Earth, everything that you need, want, can think of, can perform, anything, everything. It's mind-blowing what is in your bubble for you to work with. You only work with a tiny little piece of it, just a little part of it. Nobody has expanded to the point that they use a great amount of it. There's gillions of things within the bubble that you could, had you not set up this death thing, you could continue and continue and continue and never go through that death period at all. If you got into the flow of experimenting with everything that you've got on your planet, you could live for eons and still not use up everything. So you see, all that is only all that is within a moment, because in the next moment, it is different. That is what makes the universe fun, is because it never ever stays the same. In your physicality, you don't have the freedom of expression that those outside of your little universe into the big universe. You see, there's no restrictions. You are, but you don't have to fool around with being inside of a body. That's the first restriction you put on yourselves. But remember, I do not mean a restriction in a derogatory manner at all. Your experience within a physical construct is of a grandness that very few have ever begun to realize because it is so vast. But you only touch a little bit of it, and then you get tired of it, and then, well, I guess I'll die now and start over again. I know, John, you're laughing, but you know that is what the people on your planet say, because they get bored with physicality. That's because they've only touched such a small portion of it. So, but the restriction is your body. But if you were to learn how to work with the body, allow your psyche to work with you and not push it around and make everything, you have your dream time and you wake up. Then you go and get all the books, or you find all these people that can tell you what your dreams are all about. My goodness, can't you even figure that one out for yourself? You don't have to have a book to tell you what your dream is about. You don't have to have another individual to tell you what your dream is all about. If you can't figure it out, forget it. Either you'll experience in your daytime or you won't. But it is no big hang-up. Okay, next question. John, the next question is, when Seth says he goes to his favorite desk and den, is that an actuality that others can perceive, or is it a totally subjective mental construct? DATRE, much laughter. Well, pretty hard sometimes to tell where the jokes are, isn't it? Yep, sure, I go to my desk. I also go to my bed, and I sleep, and I do all kinds of things. The only thing I was putting across there, and I don't know where it said or what, but I'm pretty much of a jokester. But the thing is, what I was getting at was sitting down, putting your feet up. If I were to do that, what would I do? I'd be waiting for inspiration, and by the time I got my feet on the desk, it would be there, and I'd be doing something else anyway. No, that was a fun thing. I put fun things in my books, and the interesting thing is, it was very difficult many times. They made fun of the things that were serious, and they took serious the things I made fun of. Sometimes things got a little back end too. And please, the person that I am speaking to on the question, please do not take umbrage at that. I'm not making fun of you, believe me. But I found it very interesting that many people thought I was a fun-loving person. No, I wasn't. I was giving information that I wanted to get across to people. Yes, I do laugh. I do smile in the channel, and I do the same with Aeona. But the thing is that the basic core of every one of my books was very, very serious information. If that information had been followed, there would have been at least one that would have gone out of this what you call your planet Earth bubble, because the material was that intense. But the thing is that it put some of you right on the very edge, because that was many years ago that original information was given, and because you did not have a framework to support your understanding of the great deal of that information. If you were to read those books with the information that you have gained in that which you call your physical expression or experience, you would find that it is entirely different. Because one of the things we are trying to do here is to put in baby steps very simplistically, to build a good foundation for you, to begin to expand your awareness. Now, putting my feet up on the desk. Well, sounds like a good idea. Sounds like a very good idea. But I don't have time for that anymore. So we're not making fun of you, whoever you are. We're just telling you that that was just put in for fun. And I do like to have a good time. As you well know, we have some very good times here. As soon as we get Aeona out of the way, then we have fun. Are there any more questions? John, that was it. DATRE, that was a good one. All right, surf's up. Let's go for a ride. See you later. We're DATRE.